This is the ultimate camera comparison video of Samsung Galaxy S24 versus Samsung Galaxy S24 Fan Edition. This is the audio test. There's a price difference between these two phones, around $200, $600 for Galaxy S24 Fan Edition, and around $800 for Samsung Galaxy S24. So I think that's it for the audio test. Now let's check some portrait shots.
Late night, feels like I'm all alone. Sinking deep in, it got me low.
Let's start with 1x, or using the 50 megapixel main sensor, a difference of 0.01 on the sensor size. I think the difference is non-existent.
Sounds stupid, but I could listen to.
I would say in terms of skin tone, Galaxy S24 is a little bit warmer than Fan Edition. Also, the subtle difference in the bokeh balls. There's more bokeh balls on flagship S24.
You know that you can't call me tonight.
Exposure-wise, you would see better exposed images on Galaxy S24. The Fan Edition crushes the blacks a little bit, like the hair and the dark shirt.
It eats my pain, 'cause girl, it's healing. You're my medicine.
But in terms of edge detection, I think Samsung perfected portrait mode. They're one of the best in the business.
Something inside comes alive when you laugh, lights up the other line.
I think overall, if you don't know which phone is which on a side-by-side test, you wouldn't know the difference even you post this on social media.
When I'm falling, pocket all that. Want you to stay around. I feel safe inside. We're not in a rush. Sunrise till we're done. I just can't shut up.
Both phones can shoot 1x, 2x, and 3x, 24mm, 50mm, and 75mm shot. Checking the front camera, it's a night and day difference because of the face detection autofocus. S24 is more in focus and has better details compared to Galaxy S24 FE.
You can't call me tonight. Don't need no reason. It's not urgent. Voice is medicine. But tonight, it eats my pain. 'Cause girl, it's healing.
This is the selfie video recording comparison between S24 versus S24 Fan Edition. This is in UHD 60 FPS. This is what it looks like using the selfie camera. Now let's check some portrait mode. And this is the portrait mode on video. They call it portrait video. Again, in UHD 30 FPS, so you can see a little bit of background blur. A little 360 on both cameras. You can see the sky. It's raining today, so you might hear wind noise at the background. Which do you think is better? This is the 8K video recording on both phones. This is Samsung Galaxy S24 Fan Edition. Look at the details on my face and the background. And this is Samsung Galaxy S24. Again, look at the details on my face and the background. We are using an external microphone on this test. Which phone do you think is better? The main sensor and the ultra-wide is the same resolution, 50 megapixel and 12 megapixel respectively. The only difference is the telephoto zoom. You got 2 more megapixel on the regular S24. In terms of colors, you would see more saturated images on the regular Samsung flagship, and the Fan Edition is more toned down, natural looking. But Samsung Galaxy S24 changes the white balance really quick depending on the light source. It actively warms the scene for yellow lights. I think it's trying to mimic sunshine. I think they almost have the same color profile. Again, it's just a difference in white balance, cooler on S24 FE and warmer on S24. We also have the 50 megapixel readout on both phones using the main sensor, and I feel like S24 FE is a little bit more detailed. In terms of exposure, same as the portrait mode, better exposed on the flagship S24. But what I like about the Fan Edition is it doesn't blend the colors like what S24 is doing, cleaning up the colors of the images. Both phones can shoot on the ultra-wide main and telephoto, and they can go as far as 30 times. I think the biggest difference between these two phones is the price point. You got $200 more for S24. You got a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 on the flagship S24, but you have a bigger screen on S24 Fan Edition. So which phone is your pick? Quickly doing the stabilization test. We're using the ultra-wide lens in 4K 30 FPS. We will wiggle the phone a little bit for you to see the stabilization. S24 has super steady video. It wasn't advertised on the Fan Edition. So let me know if there's any difference on the stabilization. Now we're going to the main sensor. We'll jiggle it a little bit. Again, which phone is better? And we're doing the 3x optical zoom. This is the stabilization test of S24 versus S24 Fan Edition. The biggest surprise for me on the latest S24 Fan Edition is Samsung was able to provide the same UHD 120 FPS.
What's that they underpaid? These souls get turned to gray.
Because of the storm, the night was a little bit windy, so you would see the leaves and the grass are moving around. And on night shot, you will have faster shutter speed on Galaxy S24. You would see a lot of motion blur on Galaxy S24 Fan Edition.
What I know, yeah, that's just what I know. Blue take come, hope supernova. Push it back down, we up and over. Say 3 times to believe that's how it goes.
If we check the exposure, I think Galaxy S24 FE is a tad brighter than flagship S24, but in terms of details, I would go with the regular flagship. Also, in terms of white balance, S24 is warmer than Fan Edition, and the overall performance of the autofocus is better again on the regular Samsung flagship. This is the low light video recording, Samsung Galaxy S24 versus S24 Fan Edition. So a difference in white balance, warmer in S24 and cooler tone on S24 Fan Edition. And you can see the exposure, better exposed on the more expensive S24. All of these shots are taken in 4K 30 FPS. This is the main sensor. Again, better exposure on S24. Look at the details. And this is the 3x optical versus 3x optical of S24 Fan Edition. Again, better exposure on S24 and all black on Fan Edition. This is the 12x. And again, better details on Samsung Galaxy S24. If you get the answers you need, don't forget to hit that like button. I feel like overall both phones are really good in terms of camera performance. Galaxy S24 Fan Edition goes neck to neck with the flagship S24 in terms of camera performance. We have really good upgrades this year, the 8K video recording and the UHD 120 FPS slow motion. I guess the difference between these two phones are not on the camera performance, more on the speed, stability, and battery efficiency. Obviously, you're stuck with the Exynos processor on S24 Fan Edition, but you could get the Snapdragon variant on the flagship S24.
Gonna surrender.